What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another podcast, welcome back to another YouTube video, and welcome back to another school live stream. Well, like a live Zoom call. Essentially, just for everybody on the podcast who's listening, so then that way you understand, what I do is I pop open a Zoom in my fitness community, and then I record the same Zoom on a podcast, and then I also upload this as the same YouTube video, and I put it everywhere. Luckily though, I got new mics for my camera, so the audio is going to be a lot better, thank God. It makes things a lot easier for me and then also for everybody else, which is great. But essentially what I wanted to do today, and I don't talk about this too much because I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit redundant, but it's about my past and what I've been through to get to where I am today, to running a six-figure plus, year-round business that's based on fitness, transforming people's lives through health and training and getting gains and all that fun stuff, and what I've been through with my fitness and how I got started, just for a little bit of inspiration and motivation. All right, so I started when I was super young. I started when I was like 11 years old, and I was inspired to work out because of my dad, because he was built, like he was big, he was pretty jacked. Like when I was a kid, I was always hanging off of his arm, or like I always just looked up to him because he had this like body of a superhero, but also him and my mom, who's actually my stepmom, they were really about health and fitness. And for me, I just saw the energy that they kind of put out. I mean, they're two really busy people trying to provide for like 4 children. I just gotta fix my camera real quick. Like always on the go, always doing stuff, always being super busy. And for me, that was super motivating. It was awesome to see that, because as a kid, sometimes you just don't come across a lot of people who are super into fitness, who preach it though, like who like the science behind it, who like to feel good, who like to eat good because it makes you feel this way, who like to train this way because it makes you do this. And so when I was a kid and I saw that, I was like, oh, this makes sense in my brain. If I work out, I'm gonna feel better. If I work out, I'm gonna build muscle. But essentially for me as a kid, I wanted to work out because I had nothing to do. I didn't fit in with all the other kids, you know what I mean? Like I didn't play sports. I was kind of bullied as a kid. I was honestly really insecure and quiet sometimes, like usually around a lot of people. And since I was super close to my dad, when I used to spend time with him, that was, one of our ways to spend time. We would work out. And so I really got into it at 11 years old. I was a little bit more on and off. And then I started to take it super seriously when I was 14. When I was 14, I started to work out every day. And now, mind you, I was going back and forth between my parents' houses because they were separated, right? So at my dad's, he had all the equipment. At my mom's, she didn't really have much equipment, like, a couple pairs of dumbbells, a treadmill. One time we got this like machine, like a pec deck machine at one point, but it was super ratchet. And that's what we used. So when I was at my dad's, I would be training super hard. That's when I got into deadlifting and squatting. When I was like 14, just started to train, super heavy. I'd be blasting music in the basement. I'd be screaming and yelling, and my parents would be upstairs like, what the fuck is this kid on? What the fuck is he doing? And at my mom's, I would do whatever I could, just light dumbbell workouts, cardio, whatever it is. And I wouldn't always work out at my mom's, but that's how I started to get into things. And the best part was I was in junior high. Like I was super young, 14 years old, and I would get compliments from other people, and they would also ask me questions about like, oh, how do you have abs? Like, how are you building muscle? How are you doing these things? And I moved schools eventually when I was like 14, 15, and even when it came time, when it was like that time when I moved, I started to get even more compliments. And when I moved, I became like extra insecure. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has problems at home, and we had some problems, of course, and that affected me, and I was super quiet, and I got a job when I was 14 as well. A lot happened during that year, but I got a job, after school I would go to the gym, I would work a couple times a week, and I actually only got a gym membership because I got a job. And my parents couldn't afford extra food, because in order to feed a kid who wants to get into bodybuilding and just, that whole fitness side of things, I needed to eat more, but that was like double the amount that my siblings were eating. And so I had to work when I was 14 to be able to buy myself some extra food, some extra beef, some extra rice, some extra, just like little things. And also to buy supplements like protein powder and BCAAs, which I used to like rave about when I was a kid and used to love. I used to think that they would do these magical things to me, but they actually didn't. And that's when I started, that's how I literally got into it, man. Like, I remember I got a gym membership simply just because I was working out at my dad's, and he had like a squat rack, a cable machine, power blocks, and I was like, this is good, but like, imagine access to so much more equipment and machines. I was like, dude, this is gonna be like the best thing ever. And so I was like, fuck it, it's time, man. I'm gonna find a job. I'm gonna start working. I'm gonna start, buying these things for myself, because this is a goal that I have I really want to do this for myself. And for me at a young age, like, that's when the fitness kick like got to me. That's when the fitness bug got me. And I see people when they get into fitness now, and they're really about fitness. Like, I've been doing this for like 15 years. I remember when I first got protein powder, and like I'd smell it, I'd like love the smell and like just the product of like what it is, because like I thought it would help me so much, and then you learn it's just like basically one scoop is like eating a chicken breast. It's like not that different, and same with protein bars. I remember when Quest bars came out, and I was like raving about them, and I loved them because it's like this like healthy thing, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna feel so good, and all this stuff, and then you get into things and you learn things about what makes you feel good, what doesn't make you feel good, and these things become a little bit more neutral to you. But in the beginning, when I got the fitness kick, like everything was like fucking awesome, you know what I mean? Like new headphones for the gym, new gym gear, and now I'll just show up in a raggedy ass t-shirt and sweats, and I'm like good to go. But when I first started, that's what it was all about for me. And, I loved it, right? And then so years pass, and after in grade 9, I got into like smoking marijuana more, and I became a stoner throughout high school. And I actually stopped working out for probably a good couple months. And after that, I swear to God, I was like, I'm never, ever skipping the gym like that ever again, because I felt like shit. This is in like grade 10, I think, or grade 11. I felt like shit, wasn't doing well, like it just sucked. And I just found there's a lot more benefit with sticking with with your health and fitness. In grade 11, I was thinking about what I wanted to do with my life. I thought about online fitness coaching because I saw some people online do it. And I always say this about online fitness coaching. I'm like, if it was 10 years ago, I swear to God, dude, I'd be a multi-millionaire. Because honestly, it is so washed out now. You know what I mean? Like, it is so, if I was doing the same things that I was doing now, putting out content, blah, 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 like, I swear, just because of like the wave that I had like 10 years ago, there was just, you were so much more likely to be successful with it. It was crazy. But I saw people do it, and I was like, man, I want to do the same thing. I want to run my own business and help a lot of people. That's my main goal. Like, I just want to help people feel better, feel how I felt, and how I want to pass on what fitness gave to me. You know what I mean? And so after high school, I was really debating on what to do. I worked at Swish LA as a chef in the back for a little while. I worked at Popeyes Supplements, and then I got my personal training certificates and got a job at Good Life across the street. Worked there for about a year. COVID hit. Then I was like, okay, fuck it. Why'd I start this job and work here for a year? I could have just been fucking working on my business, but I didn't know how, right? So hired some help and learned the basics and the fundamentals of like what I needed to do to be able to actually accomplish it. Now, when I was 18, and mind you, I started my business when I was 19. So no, it was in 2020. Yeah, so I was 20. But mind you, I competed in my first bodybuilding show when I was 18. Now, I got the fitness kick to compete because I was like, I want to challenge myself with something. I don't have much going on, and I was kind of at that stage in my life. Most people don't compete when they're 18. And for me, I was like, I already have a good foundation, I could just try. And honestly, it fucking was awesome. I won, but it also sucks because I did it terribly. Crash dieted, ate beef and broccoli 4 meals a day. It sucked. It was the worst. Did not know how to do it at all. Like, it's so funny. I tried to learn. I just like, man, what if it was fun though. I was just like, man, but it could have been done so much better, And that's also why I got into coaching some competitors along the way with my coaching, because I want to help people do that right, but I don't do that too much because it does take a lot more, and people need a lot more when they're competing. A lot more than I can give most of the time. So, unless they're super chill about it. So then anyways, yeah, won that show, competed again a year later, won that show, 2 really good streaks, right? I took about a year off, I think, maybe 2 years to just focus on building, blah, blah, blah. And when did I compete again? I competed when I was 2022, I think. And I competed 3 times in the same year and lost all shows. And mind you, I was going through some relationship stuff, became an adult, moved out when I was 20. With my own business, paying for my own rent, like everything like that. Like, adult life really started to hit me, you know what I mean? And I had to mature. And, I learned a lot about how to do that properly during that time. But, when you go through relationship problems, breakups, and 3 bodybuilding losses, I'm putting my life into like this, like everything. Like, it really adds up. And I took some hard losses that year and even the next year, and I got super depressed after that, moving into like 2023, 2024. Super depressed, went on antidepressants, barely worked for a while just because I was like struggling so bad. Went into a lot of debt, went into a lot of shit, and it just like, man, really kicked me down. But I got back up. Went off the antidepressants, paid off my debt, and at least my credit card debt, like I had a lot, and paid it off, and started chipping away. And now I'm back, like 2025, and I'm like more focused than ever because I've been through so many losses, and we all need those. Like, I was hard on myself for a long time because I had so many wins and I was doing so good. I was going into fitness. I was feeling great about everything. And then all these losses, and it's just like, holy shit, so much is going on. And so anyways, it just took some time to get back, but now I have skills to help me stay there, feeling good, doing my thing. And it takes a lot of learning, a lot of self-reflection about when you become an adult. Like, there's a lot to fucking think about. How you react, how to react to how others react, how to manage your life, how to have work-life balance. I used to get caught up in the flow of like going all in and doing everything and, hustling every single week, working extremely long days, and it just didn't help me at all. And now that I've taken a lot of time to reflect, and I still do it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's an ongoing process. Like, I'll be learning till I die. But I noticed that since I've actually been taking it really seriously about like what I need to show up in a good state, in as realistic as I possibly can, like a very realistic, like normal version. I'm not saying like I need anything crazy or anything like that, but it's just like things that I need to control and manage on a day-to-day basis. It's like I show up so much better for my clients, my team, my life, my future wife, my like fucking everything, and I'm like, man, it's nice, it's good, right? And then it's just about stacking those wins and just keeping it going. The one thing that's really gotten me these past years with my life, with fitness, with health, with my business, with everything, is just doing too much, working too hard, too many hours, trying to fix everything today. And And really, it did not serve me at all. And so I had to step back and start to work smarter instead of working harder, because I'm really good at the working hard part, but what if I feel like you're just missing out on a whole lot if you haven't taken advantage or maximized the other side, working smarter. And so I really started to plan a lot of things out, write down a lot of things, journal a lot, and find what's worked for me in my life when it comes to working out. How many days a week, what work-life balance looks like, what I can actually take on in my business. And it's a little bit different because I am a business owner. There's a lot for me to plan for like the future. For a lot of you guys who might be listening, you probably, work a 9 to 5 and you're cool with that, so you might not have a whole lot to plan out, but for me in my life, it's been a little bit more chaotic, and I've had to do a lot of that planning. So that's where I'm at. I have a beautiful girlfriend, currently living with my brother in a townhouse, soon to move out with her eventually. I feel good. The gym is it's not so much of a pressure anymore. I did compete in powerlifting about a year ago and also ran in a marathon, and I was just like, man, I need to stop putting such big challenges on myself, so then that way I can just enjoy the moment. Because really, I need to perform in business, not like any other area of my life right now. Like, that's top priority. And that's been one of the major shifts in my life. It's like really setting my priorities straight, which is why I stopped competing, which is a big thing. It was my life. Every year I'd come around, I'm like, I need something new. And really, I don't. I just need to put my full focus and energy into my business and my health when I need it. But like, I got to such a place where I was just trying to improve all areas of life that I couldn't enjoy all areas of life at all. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, maybe just because I keep putting these pressures on myself, these challenges that I just don't need. You know what I mean? And so now for me, like, fitness is really just about feeling good, looking good. And I really mean that. Like, feeling good and looking good. I fucking love it. And apart from that, just like enjoying life. Like everybody in there, something I see with a lot of people, and this is a big mistake that people with their fitness make, which is something that I feel like I'm really good at coaching, is simply just not doing too much. A big mistake people make is they go all in. They do too much, they burn out, crash. It's not about that. Unless you're competing in bodybuilding or you have some kind of crazy top performance goal. So I have some clients who are like that. That's great. You can't do it for the rest of your life though. Because I did that for years and years. And I think you just get to a point where it's like, enough is enough. So I'm going to use all those tools, use all those skills for my future. And that's my story, y'all. That's it for today. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen. If you did, make sure to love this episode, like it, subscribe, the works. And I post these every single week on Thursdays, really early in the morning, but you can listen anytime. Remember, on YouTube, on Spotify, check out my Instagram, whatever it may be. But I hope that you got to learn a little bit about me. Hopefully they gave you a little bit of motivation and inspiration. Take it with you today to have a good day. And just remember that you don't have to, and you can't do it all today. So may as well just enjoy the ride a little bit. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Much love and peace out.